Hey, this is Dean with the Two Party Podcast. I've got news breakdown for 9/16/2020. I'm just going to go through a few things as I always do. Just kind of want to touch base on a few news topics from today and yesterday, and just kind of give my highlights, my opinions on it. You can agree or disagree. You can call in. You want to be a guest? Let us know. You can reach us. Our Gmail's twopartypodcast@gmail.com. You can reach us on our website, the number 2partypodcast.com. You can reach us at either one of those. So if you want to be a guest, you have opinions on some of my news breakdown, I'd love to hear from you. If you just want to be a guest to promote your business or music, let me know. We're also looking for sponsors to kind of help offset some of the costs of the show. So on that note, I just wanted to announce that we're going to have the past video or the past interview I had with Coach Cam. We just got video set up. We're going to have that uploaded to our YouTube. We're going to have that posted on all the social media for you to listen to that and have a video format of it. It's just the audio with the visual to watch, but we want to get that up and just make that announcement, kind of help Coach Cam lift off his podcast tour. He's doing 56 shows in 56 days. That's a pretty amazing goal to hit, and he's really spreading some good positivity. And we had a great discussion on faith and entrepreneurship and just some of the things he'd like to see, his influence and just some of his positive effects. So, if you can leave something behind in this world, let it be good. Let your memory shine. Let your legacy shine for something good. Let it glorify God. If you don't believe in God, you can let it glorify just the nature of a good heart, and it still has the same meaning, maybe to you as it does to any Christian. So on that note, let's start scrolling through some of this news. Now I'm going to start. Might seem kind of weird. We have a large audience in India. We have a large audience in Africa. We have a large audience around the world, Australia, Ireland. We have some pretty good listeners up in Europe and stuff. But going through our insights and analyzing things, we're starting to find that some of the other countries overseas seem to pick up our broadcast and our podcast, and they actually follow and keep up with a lot of what we say. Now, I'm not sure why, a national interest or, I'm interested in what's going on in other countries. I'm sure that's part of it. So maybe they're just interested in, what our news is and what's really going on over here. I'm sure they probably hear the crazy stuff in the media that we hear from our crazy media. So that being said, I'm kind of going to touch base on some of some news from India. I feel like that's necessary for the audience there to kind of be more more to relate more to that audience. So I'm just going to read some of this stuff off, and some of it caught my attention. So I'm not just going there for our audience. Some of this actually caught my attention. So there's talks, and I'd really have to dig because I don't have it pulled up right this second. But there's talks over there of actually banning cryptocurrency, banning any of the Bitcoin and all that. They're actually talking about banning it in that country. So that's the first topic that I thought was interesting, and I apologize that I did not pull that up. I will actually look it up right this second. So on that note, that was just something I found really interesting, and so here it is right here. So the Indian Central Bank in 2018 banned crypto transactions for a string of frauds in the months following the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's sudden decision to ban 80% of the nation's currency. Cryptocurrency exchanges responded with a lawsuit in the Supreme Court in September and won respite in 2020. So India, on that note, now this is an article. This is September 15th, so this is the one I was actually looking at. So India is reportedly moving to ban the trading of cryptocurrency. So if you're in India, it's probably a good time to get out. This might be your inside tip. You might want to just pull your ranks over there with that crypto stuff. So here we go. The federal cabinet is expected to soon discuss a new bill before passing it in the parliament, while the government is exploring the possible uses of blockchains to manage land records, pharmaceutical, drug supply chains. It is against cryptocurrency trading. So the Reserve Bank of India has banned commercial banks from servicing crypto traders. The nation's Supreme Court overruled the central bank's ban. Since then, trading volumes on cryptocurrency exchanges servicing Indian clients have picked up sharply. A private think tank recently said the Indian government should regulate Bitcoin like a corporate stock. If the ban is passed, it will be a blow to the rapidly growing crypto scene in India that has flourished since the banking ban was overturned. So there's your update on that. What I was talking about on the crypto. Kind of interesting to see. We'll have to keep an eye on that. If you're a big Bitcoin or cryptocurrency miner, as we call them, if you trade and you're into that, just beware. It is huge on fraud. There's a lot going on with that, good and bad. I know a lot of people that made a lot of good money and still making some good money on it. I know a lot of people that lost their tail on it. So there you go. Now, 5 million people are infected in India. India's virus outbreak is still soaring. India's coronavirus cases surpassed 5 million. Now, Russia is supposed to sell 100 million COVID vaccine doses to India. So this is, as of 21 minutes ago, this was reported because they have such a high number and outbreak over there. So that being said, it's kind of crazy. Now, India pushes supplies to disputed China border. Now, if you're not familiar with this, I'm going to go ahead and click this and read it for you. Just kind of touch base on it. Now, India's military has activated its entire logistics network to transport supplies to thousands of troops ahead of a harsh winter, along with a bitterly disputed Himalayan border dispute over the Himalayan border with China, as New Delhi blamed Beijing for the worst border standoffs in decades. So China and India are fighting over this area and a border standoff. And there was, for a while there, I guess there was kind of some slowed down a little bit some of the violence that was going on there. But it hasn't stopped, and apparently it is now, it says, and escalated in June to hand-to-hand combat. So we've gone from, here we are in the 20s, 2020, and we're back doing some hand-to-hand fighting at the border, trying to take stance on a border. 20 Indian soldiers were killed while China suffered an undisclosed number of casualties. So, I mean, this is just, my opinion, this is senseless violence, okay? Senseless. We have people dying, troops. It's great that countries support, and I support our military here in the U.S. It is great that we support and nurture and build and keep defenses up for terrorist attacks or attacks in general on our nation to protect our citizens. But it's, these nonsense. We're fighting over imaginary lines on land, resources. I get it. It's really sad that there's lives that have to be lost over this. It's sad that these people are fighting hand to hand. Not to make light or joke of it, but it's sad that these people are sitting here fighting hand to hand instead of sitting at a table negotiating diplomatically and trying to figure this out, having a ceasefire or cease karate chop, whatever you want to call it. But it's sad. It's sad. So anyhow, that's where we're at. I mean, there's a whole bunch of news. If you're not familiar with what's going on in India now, India it gets my attention all the time because India is an ally of ours. India has huge technology innovations. They have huge medical technology innovations. They have companies over there that unbeknownst to a lot of people, really do provide a lot of our knowledge into medical and surgeries and crazy techniques of transplants and stuff. And I know there's been documentaries about how medicine over there is a lot cheaper than it is here. Procedures can go right and they can go wrong. I think there was even a documentary about kidney transplant or organ transplant, stuff like that. So India is a funny place to watch. I love keeping up with the technology and the medical news there because they really are innovative. They really are ahead of the game. It's a unique country, unique people. And it's fun to research and look deeper into what that nation's all about. So if you ever have time or a chance to do so, I really highly recommend just kind of looking up some of that stuff. It's very interesting. Now, they also had they were having talks with Pakistan. Now, this is something something I had read yesterday, and I'm trying to dig it up right now, but they were having talks with Pakistan. And I'm sorry. There we go. Let's see if I can dig it up. National security protest. Here it is. So they have these talks going on right now. And I guess in light of, here it is right here. I'm going to read it off of this one. Now, this may not be the best, the best media source. I'm reading this off of AA.com. So it says India on Tuesday walked out of a viral meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation, the SCO, basically, after members of the states overruled New Delhi's objection on the projection of Pakistan's new map at the meeting. So what happened is these guys, it says Indian Ministry of External Affairs spokesman Anurag Shrivastava said in a statement that the Indian side left the meeting in protest and that that projection of the fictitious map by Pakistan was in violation of the norms of the meeting. So what they did is, it was kind of a poke or jab at India. They busted out this map and basically dictating where borders are or what borders should be. Or what they feel they're fighting for. And so in this meeting, it was really more of a, instead of having a diplomatic meeting where everybody's on the same page and we're actually presenting facts, they come out with this fictitious map that obviously redrew some lines, and it was a smack in the face. And I'm glad they walked out, because if that's the way you're starting into a negotiation, that's just a low blow. And it's not very diplomatic. This is very serious. This affects lives and citizens, and it was kind of a dirty tactic. On the flip side of that, I'm glad they walked out, but on the flip side of it, they probably should have held their stance, because obviously that made the news. I mean, that's the political, oh, look at them not wanting to sit at the table and deal with this. So that should be noted too. I mean, I like to look at things on both sides. So I'm going to step away from India right now. Fly my jet home. Here I am. And we are going to talk a little bit. I was listening to this morning. So the Senate Homeland Security Committee authorizes the subpoenas for testimony from Obama officials in part of the Russian probe. So this is huge. Okay. No matter what side of the aisle you stand on, you can play Trump and Russia tune all day long, and you can be on the other side of the aisle and say this was all a hoax and whatever. My opinion is I'm right in the center of this aisle going, I don't care not that I don't care, I care, but I don't care what transpired, what we're saying transpired on Facebook with ads and trying to sway something on the. I care that Russia would have messed with our election, yes. Do I care that we now know it's false due to the facts, and that we know that FISA court was lied to? Do we know all the facts that are now presented? Do we care about the portrayal of Trump and Russia? No, I don't. I don't care anymore. What I do care about is presenting the fair election. And in order to do so, to prevent these things from happening to our election, we have to get to the bottom of how it was even allowed to happen in the 2016. So that boils down to Facebook and ads and social media. That boils down to profit over, that basically boils down to ads and advertising profits that we're allowing and being manipulated. A system that is in place for good was manipulated for a devious purpose, and it was manipulated by a political party, the Democrats. We know this was bought and paid for. We know this was pushed by Democratic operatives, and our CIA and our FBI were all weaponized on this to attack Trump, who at the time would have been a citizen just like you and I, during his campaign. So on Wednesday, I listened to this. They voted, the Homeland Security Committee voted to authorize subpoenas for former CIA Director John Brennan, former Director of National Intelligence James Comey, and former FBI Director, Clapper, and former FBI Director James Comey, and other Obama administration officials as part of the broad review into the origins of the Russian investigation. So Russia, okay? We already know the situation here. We already know what was noted in this was by Ron Johnson, Republican of Wisconsin. He did say to issue notices for taking depositions, subpoenas for records, and subpoenas for testimony to individuals related to the panel's Crossfire Hurricane investigation, which is what this all is surrounded. The Justice Department Inspector General's review of the investigation and unmasking of U.S. persons affiliated with the 2016 Trump campaign transition team and Trump administration. Now, this backs up all the way back into the committee that was authorized, that also authorized subpoenas for Cindy Blumenthal, former Obama chief of staff, Dennis McDonough, former FBI Lisa Page, Joe Pinka. There's just a list, and it just goes on. And so this is helping. This at the end of the day, no matter what you look at, the Mueller investigation, Mueller, however you want to pronounce that dude's name, Robert Mueller, that dude wasted so much taxpayer money. And the ones the party that sided with that investigation and supported that investigation, and some on the right supported that as well. It was a waste of taxpayer money. It was 2 years plus of taxpayer money wasted. Okay, on an investigation. We have started this investigation. We've been trying to get it going. It is just now taking off this year, tail end of last year to this year. So we may see a whole year, maybe year and a half into this, and we've already had one indictment. We're already seeing where they're breaking these peoples down now that we're getting more evidence and facts that have not been destroyed. We just found out that Mueller's team had destroyed cell phone evidence and texts. It just, the more you dig into this, the deeper the cover up, so to speak, is. And I don't want to jump into the conspiracy theory side of things because I don't feel this is a conspiracy. This was our government weaponized against a political opponent. And we're seeing it still now. We're still seeing Democratic states and governors and leaders opposing what our current administration is asking them to do, whether it be protect their citizens from the protesters and riots, protect your cities, call in the National Guard. We're still seeing this brick wall of weaponizing your operatives in your states or your leaders against this administration and against this president's authority. And it's sad. It's really what's driving the divisiveness in this nation. So on that note, I don't want to get too much into that. I've got a lot more on the whole Russia thing in the whole investigation into this. We as an audience and as a people and me, we've been beat up with this for years. If you're not familiar with it, I don't know what rock you're hiding under, but this is bad and it needs to be solved, and we need to get to the bottom of it. And it is worth every penny of our taxpayer money to get to the bottom of this and hold those accountable that started this false weaponized investigation into Trump, and then follow that through the Robert Mueller investigation so that we can hold those accountable that were falsifying documents, lying to courts, all of that in order to keep that investigation going, wasting more taxpayer money. I am more concerned about the taxpayer money and the repercussions of this occurring again, or not just under another Democratic president, but under any president. And on that note, I'm going to move forward a little bit more in the news, and then I just wanted to hit on something on that note. So we know Hurricane Sally's unleashing some catastrophic, life-threatening flooding in the Gulf. We've got wildfires are still kicking. They're starting to make some headway, is what I'm hearing, but the smoke is just unbearable. Asian Americans prefer Biden, but many remain undecided. So that's, here we are with the Hill and the polls. Choose your media source, wisely. Polls, I believe in polls about as much as I believe in what is a poll, okay? That's where you take the opinion of a certain number of people or demographic, and you take their opinion, yes or no, or a vote on something, and one side or the other. So most of these polls are so biased, it's not even funny. So let's say Donald Trump wants to poll America and Republicans on where they feel he is versus Biden. So he's going to go ahead and put a poll out or email a poll out to who? His Republicans, right? Okay. So that's what we're going to get. We're going to get results of a poll from Americans that support that candidate. Biden's going to do the same thing. He's going to throw one out there, and we're going to get the most skewed results from Democrats that are going to be polled. If they could go down party lines and literally poll 50-50 Democrat Republican, and you hand that poll to me, I'd probably have a little more faith in it. But when I hear anything about polls, I don't even. I mean, we saw the polls in 2016 that said Hillary was winning. She lost. Okay, I have zero faith in polls. Okay. So whenever I see these results and the president's up, the Biden's up, it's kind of like watching a race. It's kind of like just hypes the election up, And that used to be cool in the media back, decades ago when an election and a campaign was kind of almost cool as far as politics go, which politics aren't very cool. However, nowadays it's just a smear fest. It's lies. It's fake news. There is just literally nothing in the media that you can believe anymore. And so these polls just drive me nuts. Okay. So another topic I want to touch on. So we had Kayleigh McEnany at the White House doing her briefing. A lady comes out and she does an outstanding job, folks. I don't care what side of the aisle, again, you're on. If you don't really believe that this woman is doing her best in that position for what she's doing, representing the administration, which is her job, I don't know what to tell you. She really is doing a great job. She's faced with a room full of morons, okay, every single time. So if I was the media, and I'm going to go ahead and put this out there, I do have a media pass. Okay, I can go to news conferences. So if I was out in this this audience, she comes out today. She does a live press conference. She announces about law. Her whole topic of coming out is about law enforcement. She talks about these two officers who just got put in to law enforcement, sworn in, and they just got ambushed and shot. And talks about how they're heroes, how the one gets shot in the face twice, and the other one, she's trying to help him, her partner, and how they're heroes. Okay, so she talks about that. Then she talks about the lawlessness and the degradation of the beliefs in our law enforcement, and just the horrible treatment they're receiving right now. So this is what her topic is. This is what this press conference is really about. And the first question that comes out of the first reporter's mouth is questioning about a response that Trump had in his press conference yesterday about masks. Okay. I'm sorry, man. Again, if you're following any of these media sources, especially the dumb lady that brought that up, any media source that's going to show up, and again, I have a press pass, so if I'm going to show up at a press conference with Kayleigh, knowing she's going to rip me head to toe if I don't know my facts, but second, I'm not going to show up there and ask her a question that's off base or off topic. They're holding this press conference to give the public, give the citizens, and give America and the world the news. They're holding this press conference to make an announcement. So they're making an announcement and a stance. And you're not even going to ask questions about the topic. Now, as it sat there and they went through this, I was listening to it. I didn't follow all the way through. I think I got through most of it. But not one reporter there. It was all about masks. It was all about, the president said this about a mask. He said we should wear a mask. We shouldn't wear a mask. The CDC said something about a mask. Blah, 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 blah. What about the law enforcement? Why are we spinning the narrative away from what the press conference is about? You guys are shitty reporters. You guys are shitty journalists. You guys are not sticking to the topic. I don't want to hear about the freaking masks. We've heard about the masks. We've heard about the masks for months now. We wear the masks. We live with the masks. Screw the freaking masks. Okay, let's get to a real topic. Let's get to the topic of what's going on when our police officers, innocent lady, the lady's a mother, gets shot in the face twice, just started out of the police academy, okay? She's trying to help her partner, okay? This is her first experience in law enforcement, is they get ambushed in Compton, I believe it was, outside LA. They get ambushed, and I'm sorry, you can agree with me or not agree with me, and you can go ahead and say I'm pro police, or I do, okay? I support the police. I believe we need law and order. There's a need for police officers. Do I agree that every police officer is 100% good? Absolutely not. I think there could very likely and is very likely some bad ones out there. Do I think we could use reform in the police departments? Yes, I do. I think all policies change with the police currently all the time. They have changing policies. They have to keep up with the community. And that's been going on. That's nothing new. Okay. So we can go ahead and reform these and improve them more. But do I think that the police is bad to the point where we need to wage war and shoot and ambush innocent police officers? Absolutely not. And if you support that, I'm sorry, I can't support you. I believe that we're in the middle of a civil rights movement of this generation. I believe we're not going to see an end up to it soon. I think the election will play a part of it politically, because I believe that the George Floyd and all these new topics that are coming up, and the police reform and black rights and equality right now, I believe that it has all been politicized. And I think the people that are falling for it are being fooled. I fully support the movement of equality for all people. I do not support it when it becomes a political weapon, when it becomes a this side versus that side. That's when we're not having a discussion anymore. That's when we're going beyond a discussion where it's diplomatic and we can have a debate and discussion and actually get change and a solution. You can't have it in the midst of all this. So that's where I stand. You can like it or dislike it. It's okay with me. I've been known to be wrong. Prove me wrong. Touch base with me, be a guest. Let's talk about why I'm wrong. So that on that note, and then federal officials unveil a plan to provide free coronavirus vaccine. That's another one that was brought up. So that's it. Biden had he played on his phone Despacito at a Florida campaign. I guess today he's trying to rally support from the veterans down there in Florida. So he's doing his thing. Trump's doing his thing. That's our campaign updates. Los Angeles owner says it's very necessary to vote for Trump. I mean, I just reading. I try to read these headlines, but man, it's anti-Trump, anti-Trump, anti-Trump. One little note of, okay, he did something or he's trying to do something, and then right back to the CNN black pastor says he wasn't satisfied at all with Trump's answers on racial problems. It's like the media is garbage. Okay, guys, please do your research, find your resources. I try to reach out to people, okay, that are on the ground, boots on the ground in the areas we need to discuss. You want to get news, find it at whitehouse.gov about our administration. You want to find out what's going on with our lawmakers, the House and the Senate, go to congress.gov. Look it up, go to those sites and pull the information you need. Don't rely on a headline, a report that you're seeing on these freaking media stations. They're garbage, okay? And again, I'm reading through these. I'm helping feed the washing machine of trash here, because I'm kind of feeding through these, but I'm feeding through these and giving my opinion on this stuff. We talked about this on the last news breakdown. Louisville is gonna pay Breonna Taylor's family $12 million plus. They're gonna work on some police reform. Hey, I talked about that. We kind of went over that. And I'm just looking. Bill de Blasio will furlough entire mayoral staff for a week, but it will only save New York City $860,000. You want to save New York City? You want to save New York City money? Get this dude out, okay? Get de Blasio and his wife out, who are blowing your money and raising your taxes. Get Cuomo and these other idiots. Get them out, okay? You want to save New York and make New York what it should be and used to be? Get these people out, okay? There's your solution. And I'm not even going to go as far as leaning toward it being a Democratic ran place. I'm just going to go to the fact that you got to get those guys out. Those guys are ruining your state, okay? You guys are really down the pipe, going down the gutter with these guys, and have been for years. And the last thing I want to touch on before I get out of here, Israel and the UAE pact. Dude, amazing. Trump did a great job setting this thing up, getting this going. I guess Netanyahu, I can never say that dude's name, from Israel. That guy's been nominated for a Nobel Prize as well. But the coolest thing was that in Old Jerusalem, on the wall of Old Jerusalem yesterday and last night, they actually put up all the flags together in support of this deal. So, I mean, call it a peace deal, call it just a pact. I hope they all abide by it for the citizens over there. They deserve it. But that's what I got today. That was awesome. So keep up the good work out there. Thank you for listening. Again, show some support. You can go to our Anchor page or any of our pages to show support. We really appreciate it. You guys have a great day. Dean out.